Good afternoon. This is Media Center, Ukraine, Odesa. We are starting our briefing day, and today we will talk about the forum for the reconstruction of Odesa region, safety integration potential that took place on Friday. We're having with us Hrygoryshyn, Deputy Head of the Odesa Regional Military Administration, Olena Ivanova, Head of the Office of Work with Territorial Communities of the Agency of the Regional Development of Odesa Region, Artem Vyvdych, National Expert on Community Restoration of the All-Ukrainian Association of United Territorial Communities, Expert of the Swiss-Ukrainian DECIDE project, and Tetyana Berlym, Deputy Director of the Odesa Regional Development, and the floor is to Hrygoryshyn. Good afternoon, everyone, dear friends. The Friday saw the first forum for the reconstruction of Odesa region, safety integration potential, that was organized by the Agency for Regional Development in the Odesa region, the Regional Military Administration, and the Regional Council, together with the Project Haverla and the Swiss-Ukrainian DECIDE project. Many people have heard about restoration, reconstruction, and we are waiting for the methodological information from the Ministry of Reconstruction with regard to the classification of regions. And a lot of people ask us how the process will take place. And we in our regional administration, together with the Regional Development Agency, have been working on organizing this process for half a year now. And we also have been working on the creation of the team that will work with this. It is very important because the interest to Ukraine and to the Odesa region in particular is on the very high level now. And that's why our task, our common task, is to do everything properly with the due consideration of the recommendations of international partners. This is our home task. The home task is to develop the reconstruction plan. We think that this should be, first of all, about the economic development, to properly use the grant support, the international support for this support to be used for the economic recovery of all regions and all territorial communities. This involves the creation of the new jobs, the development of new projects, and the construction of new enterprises for every citizen to see the result. So our work could become a fuel that will be able to power up all other tasks and liabilities with regard to the IDPs and educational issues, etc. This was the first forum, and we are planning a range of other events. My colleagues will share the details. We continue our work on the recovery and reconstruction plan, and the expert team has been almost established with the proper coordination with our donors, and for that work is responsible Artem Vyvdych. Thank you for your attention, and now I would like to give floor to my colleagues. I can give floor to Olena Ivanova or Artem Vyvdych. It's up to you to decide who will be the first. I can continue. Artem Vyvdych, the floor is yours. Good afternoon to everyone. My name is Artem Vyvdych. I'm the national expert of the Swiss-Ukrainian DECIDE project. The DECIDE project, similar to other Swiss projects and the USAID projects, has supported the reconstruction and recovery of the Odesa region during and after the war. Such strategic planning is unique for Ukraine because now we have 3 projects which are supported by the Swiss embassy and one more project which is supported by USAID. And the expertise which is provided by the international community to the Odesa region is a high scale. And Ukraine has never seen such examples before. Moreover, we understand that the war is ongoing, and the strategic planning is aimed to find the answers to three questions. The first one, how can we minimize the losses caused by Russia? And after the public launch at the forum, we will start the collection and analysis of the data. The next planning horizon is stabilizing the situation, following the principle to recover to the better condition as it used to be. This is supported by the government of Ukraine, by the international community, and this means that the damaged project shall be recovered with the due consideration of the environmental issues, of the sustainability, inclusion, and other issues. And the third horizon of our planning, which is envisaged up to 2027, but this will be the basis for the further growth of the region and Ukraine in general. Our northern neighbor is still there, and we should be ready for the future, and also taking into consideration that Ukraine has become closer to the European Union with the candidate status. That's why the strategic planning is a very complex and complicated process, but as a result, we will get simple and clear results with regard to the project, and that should be implemented in Odesa region for the development of logistics, agrarian sector, and tourism, which is important for IDPs and to the citizens of Odesa region, with the prioritization of these issues. Olena Ivanova, the floor is yours. The Regional Development Agency has initiated the event, the Reconstruction Forum. The Regional Development Agency is involved in the development of the strategy and the recovery and reconstruction plan. This is also a communication platform that communicates with all donors. This forum is the beginning of a very difficult but very interesting path for our region. The principles of this forum, the pillars, namely safety, integration, and potential, are the key one that shall be discussed now. Why we decided to have this start? Artem has already mentioned that this is a unique situation when we have a multi-donor team with the best experts that will work on the planning of the development of the region. The principles that we are going to use for our work is the transparency, trust, responsibility, unity, and the result. And we discussed that during the forum, and we would like to thank our partner, Hoverly USAID, for rendering support to us when it comes to the mentioned event. And we had an opportunity to openly discuss with the representatives of the government, of the state authorities, who were able to learn about the position of the state and the regional authorities. We also had representatives of local self-government bodies, the society, and businesses. And we also agreed for the follow-up with regard to the strategy development in the form of additional 4 events. There is now the possibility to be included in working groups, and we believe that all those who are willing to join us, who have the skills and competences needed, can join us, because the strategic planning shall be transparent. The Regional Development Agency will announce the dates of the additional events, depending on the stages, SWOT analysis, and we will have separate 4 events to discuss the priorities of our work. I would also like to emphasize that all representatives of donors stress the fact that involvement of experts in work on strategy is not a result. This is only the beginning of our work. And they also ready to continue supporting us and to implement the project together with us, which is very important, because this means that Odesa region has already support of the international community. Thank you. Tetyana, the floor is yours. Good afternoon. I'd like to say a few words about the Regional Development Agency of the Odesa region. The main task of our agency is the development of strategic documents and tasks for Odesa region, which is now very important for our work, namely the reconstruction and recovery plan and the development strategy for Odesa region. We work in several areas, namely, we work with our territorial communities. That involves providing information and consultative support. And we also raise awareness of our communities about the policy of openness and transparency when it comes to citizens, business, and investors. The second area of our work is investments. We work with national and foreign investors and the support of investment projects. The third area, the grant office, the agency provides services to select possible grant programs, to prepare projects, and to prepare various applications for donors. And the fourth area is the new one for us. This is the European Integration Office. We understand that now this is a very important issue, not only for our region, but for Ukraine in general. The agency is the communication platform between the state, business, and the civil society. That's why I would like to welcome everyone to cooperate with us. Do we have any questions from the floor? I have a question from Elite Expert, Elite Publishing House, and this is the question about EXPO. And the second question to Ms. Olena Ivanova. So the question to Roman, and you promised to share the experience of work of the team with EXPO 2030 6 months ago. Do you have any updates about this? And the question to Olena. The agency provides the paid consultations for this region. What is your revenue for the last year, and how did you spend that money? I would like to start. Thank you for the question, Elite Expert. This is a good question, but this is a bit deformed, because we promised to publish the dossier for the public access, the dossier that we submitted to win EXPO 2030. But we need to understand that there are certain regulations of the international organization, and there are some requirements from organizers. That's why until we have the conclusion of the research mission with regard to the dossier that took place in March, we cannot publish the document. At the moment, the timeline is as following. The next week, we are expecting to receive the final conclusion of the commission, which will be approved by the executive committee of the organization. After that, we will be able to publish the document and the information about its authors. So first, that issue related to dossier during first briefings, but then the journalists asked you about publishing the information about experience of the team, and you promised to publish that in the nearest future. I remember when you told about that, the information about skills and experience. So it's a bit funny to hear. It's like an exam like a test, because the team that worked on the project and the work done can be found on the EXPO 2030 website. If the mentioned journalists have any questions to us, then can find the information on the website. The information is published there about every member, each member of the team. So let's not try to find any pitfalls or gaps. At the moment, we continue our work, we continue our fight. We are among the favorites. And I'm one of the leaders of the project, and would have been easier for me to publish the dossier, but we should follow the international regulations. As soon as it is possible from the technical and legal point of view, we'll be able to publish it. As for the people, we have not submitted any report of the 9th grade student. The information is open. It is published. There are public presentations at the General Assembly. We have the conclusions, and we have the architect bureau, a prominent one which supports us. But journalists want to assess the experience of the team members by their own. You can find the information on the website. It is open. You can find information about the whole team there. For example, CV Company and Kirilo Krivolab, who were the leaders of the process to develop the dossier. And this is the team which supports the Cabinet of Ministers. They have developed a range of reform which are now implemented in Ukraine. They have been also working on the economic recovery reform. Elite expert, this media outlet are from Odesa. They are Odesa residents, and they should learn how to be grateful, because the CV company did not charge some huge amounts, and we did not spend 20 millions on the dossier as the Saudi Arabia. So this is kind of a gift to Odesa. Also, Odesa is not the native city of the company. And we are so grateful, and we ask them to provide some additional information to learn more about their expertise. You should start from yourself. And Olena, the question to you about the revenue of the Regional Development Agency for the last year, and how did you spend that money? This is not the question to me, because I'm not responsible for the economic and revenue part. I can provide information about the cooperation with our communities in this area and how we work with them. And if the journalists have any questions to us, we are open and transparent, and they can get information from us. And now I can say the following. And I'm in touch with all agencies, and Odesa agency is among the 3rd best agencies. We report to the ministry. And thirdly, we work in line with the current legislation, and the new legislation environment envisage the possibility for the agency to provide additional paid services. Communities don't have experts, and now we need to understand what we should do now together. Are we going to choose the old path and try to find those who are better and those who are worse, and to try to find some bad things, or we will join to get common result? And now in our communities, we have the issues with human resources. A lot of people have left, a lot of people have arrived. And what is the amount of the financing from the community. According to the current legislation, the agency can provide paid services. Those communities who cannot prepare the grant applications, they can refer to grant office that will support them for small payments. And unfortunately, I am not have the information about accounting and about accounting statements. So you cannot now share the details about the amount of paid services provided by the agencies. No, because I'm not the responsible for this area, and that was not the topic of our today's briefing. These are the journalists from Politexpert. They try to avail of the opportunity of having you here to find additional information. We're always transparent. They can just refer to the agency. But actually, this is their request in oral form according to legislation. So please take the mic. Good afternoon. My name is Irina Syczkowska, Suspilna, Odesa. I have the following questions. When it comes to this strategy, do you have now the understanding of the biggest gaps because of the war with Russia and the martial law in the Odesa region? I think this is the question both to Mr. Vyvdych and Ms. Ivanova, because when it comes to terms, we will not have the resort season today, this year, but perhaps, and this is the question to you, Ms. Ivanova, you know about what territorial communities prepare, because they don't have the sea there, and perhaps Mr. Vyvdych can share some information. Thank you very much for your question. There is a range of hypotheses which were offered by the experts to start data collection and analysis to prove whether these concepts are true or not. One of our partners is Hoverla project, which will be responsible for the analysis of the economic area. The first issue is, of course, tourism, and last year we did not have this tourist season. This year the situation is the same. A lot of Ukrainians have left the country. There is no access to the Black Sea. The airports are closed, and we understand that there is impact, but we don't know the volume of that the volume of that effect. The second issue is transportation, and due to grain deal, some of the cargoes were able to leave our ports. But actually, we have the changes not only here, but also in the western part of Ukraine, at the BCPs and at some other areas where we have dry docks for transshipment of cargoes. We also should take into consideration the river ports of Odesa region, not only with regard to the Odesa region, but we also should have the bigger picture, including Mykolaiv, Kherson Oblast, and the western border with Poland and other countries. After that, the next step is the security issue. The government has already taken several measures to increase the level of security. These are the changes of the construction standards for the new facilities, that the new ones shall have bomb shelters. And there are also some changes to the procurement process, and here the responsible entities are state bodies. And the next question is the question and the issue of energy, because all of us saw the consequences of Russian shelling. And during at the forum, the deputy head of the Minister of Energy mentioned the necessity to decentralize generation to protect us from such threats in the future. There is also a range of challenges and also the possibilities and opportunities which we get as the status of the EU candidate. These are requirements and standards with regard to environment, for example, Green Deal. This is the ability to trace and track the amount of emissions as the result of the production. If Ukraine wants to join the EU market, the decreased emissions is one of the requirements to become competitive and to pay less for the percent of such dangerous emissions in production. There are a lot of other issues related to the environment, for example, melioration system, the water basins, the agrarian sector. All these areas are those strategic questions which will be considered by the working group. They will verify all those concepts, and they will develop the solutions. They will be also able to cooperate with other working groups in other areas. This is an ongoing process. Olena has called for experts in different areas to join us, and the work of the working groups will be coordinated with the regional administration with the support of experts. I would like to add from my side, Artem has openly provided the answer to your question. The main task now, which our experts have, and why we are thankful to our donors, because they now form a very powerful expert group to reload fully our region with the due regard of the new times we are facing now. Of course, all of us say that we should have a better situation than we used to have before, that we should do and work differently. But how? What is meant exactly? We should understand that even before the war, Odesa region has its own peculiarities. And before the war, investors were cautious about cooperating with the Odesa region. And it is very difficult now even for us to coordinate our actions, and we try to find some pitfalls rather than to be focused on some good things. We need to change this situation. Experts will consider all the areas, production, processing, different clusters, like one clusters, logistics, investment, attractiveness, and all our possibilities and resources, our strong and weak points, what we should do to start the new life and to become an attractive region open for investors. Our experts will work on their solutions and will develop the roadmap. And after that, all our citizens will be aware of what is going on. And we will have expert solutions, expert conclusions in all the mentioned areas. And the main aspects of our focus are environment and tourism. We have external tourism, but we also have internal tourism that was never our focus before. It is a bit wrong to say that we don't have tourist season now, because we don't have the outer one, the foreign one, but we have our internal tourism, and this is a great possibility for our communities. Now we have a separate sector dedicated to tourism, and we start working on self-identification of Ukraine in Odesa region. We have a lot of interesting places and landmarks, and even Odesa residents are not aware of them, and this is bad. And we need to develop our own brand book, and we need to develop our vision, and we need to show to the whole world and to us, first of all, that Odesa region is united power that in all the areas has its unique but interesting issues. That's why we want to work on that. Of course, this is a very difficult task because it also involves the statistics and analytical data. And this is not only the problem of Odesa region, this is the problem of the whole country, because we're not ready. Last year, we spent to support each other, IDPs, to support our military, and to provide humanitarian aid, to have the opportunity to be present here today. And now we are launching the research process. In parallel, we have focus groups and meetings within every community. Every community will have its representatives and stakeholders that will be involved in these working groups. This is a unique process. According to Law 5323, every community should develop its reconstruction and recovery plan. And Mr. Najem emphasizes that now we will have the open investment database. We will have the joint platform that collects the projects that will be financed in the framework of the recovery and reconstruction program. And that's why every community should have its vision. Now everyone has been working on decentralization draft law, and the heads of communities are responsible for this process. They should report to their communities what they plan to do in the future. It is very important for communities to start the development of their own recovery and reconstruction plans and strategy, and we will work with them together. We will study the data. We will study our possibilities, including with regard to the tourism. We have unique villages which are formed by German Swiss colonies. And you know that twin cities are a very popular topic now, and there are a lot of cities that support our communities. There is the great draft law on intermunicipal cooperation that provides possibility to our communities not to have some individuals projects, but have a joint powerful project that will streamline their activities and actually life and comfort of people in several communities. So there is a lot of work ahead, and I would like to support now Mr. Hrygoryshyn, and to also say that now we have a chance. Now, free of charge, the donors are ready to provide their experts. They are ready to support Odesa region if they see that Odesa region is ready for this. How will we use it? Will we use this chance improperly, or will we be able to unite and to work on the process together? The document that we will have as a result is our future, and we should understand this. Thank you. Thank you very much. We will stop here. If journalists have additional questions, they can address them to the Regional Development Agency and to Odesa Regional Military Administration. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you for answering the questions. Please follow our announcements and stay tuned.